Welcome to the show. Before we get started here, I just want to say that my co-anchor Erica Ann was going to be here, but she was scheduled. You'll see her again as days go by. You'll see her come here doing a show with me as the days go by. Now, nothing new about the coronavirus. There's nothing new about the virus. I mean, what we're going to be focusing in on is just the death of George Floyd, what we discussed here on Monday. We emphasize that the police, the Minnesota Police Department, insists that one of the officers was kneeling down on him as he was trying to catch breath. And video shows what he was doing. He was in his car before it happened, and then the police tried to catch him, and then they had to use his knee. And I told you this straight up front yesterday. Why can't just cops use their hands instead of the knees at the throat? I mean, if you're going to pin someone down, use the knee to pin them on the back, not at the throat. Because you pin them at the throat, it's going to be difficult for them to breathe. Then they're going to end up at the hospital, and then the police will be blamed for this. And there were a lot of protests here in Corpus, even in Kingsville. And it still remains peaceful.
Once again, Kingsville remained peaceful. Our Churchwell and photographer Preston West were there for us today. Protesters descended on downtown Kingsville, ending up right here at the courthouse. They were holding signs like this one, "End police brutality." People from all walks of life gathered here. The crowd.
So I agree. Police brutality must end every time. I mean, we should not have the police brutalize citizens. I mean, if the police want to make an arrest, the proper way to make an arrest is to use your hands and then pin them down the back with your kneecaps and then you handcuff them. That's the way the situation goes. You don't just kneel down the throat. That can result in death and murder. And I don't know what Mr. Floyd was arrested for, but believe me, nobody else, believe me, no one else knows as much as the media. What we have to do is make sure that we have to make sure that we keep order, peace and order in our lives and make sure none of this happens ever again. So I gotta tell you, protesting is wrong. Just because the First Amendment says that we can say whatever the hell we want, does not mean it gives you the right to go protest.
A look now at the latest numbers of the novel coronavirus here in the Coastal Bend. Today, voices count.
Let's look at Sunday's coronavirus here. Now, Oasis County 275, San Patricio 33, 16 in Clayburgh, B, Jim Wells, Light, and Live Oak at 9. Arkansas is 5, Duval is 5, Jim Hogg, Riverio, and Brooks 4, 3, and 1. So as always, wear a mask, stay safe. And right now, many people like saying that we should reopen all restaurants. I mean, the 50% capacity. I mean, the lobbies in the restaurant have to be closed for reasons because they got to sanitize and clean lobbies in the restaurant because they have to clean it up. This is what the manager, the owner wants. I mean, if this is something that if this is something that the manager wants, then this is something that the manager wants. So don't just be going out there protesting, because if you guys would start protesting saying we open all fast food restaurants, that could be pointing back to me and I can be in trouble. Don't ever do that. Now let's look at what happened May 21st. May 21st, there was a shooting that happened on the base in NES Corpus Christi. And what had happened what had happened during this protest, during the shooting, this guy went to Del Mar, and then what had happened was he was killed by security people. So I did some investigating on my own and found that, I mean, if you go up Waldron, you go to NES and you go towards the base. 3 streets, 3 corners. You go to 3 streets, that goes to NES, but you keep going to NES, you're going towards the base. So maybe the shooter could have had the gun in his bag. Could have right now had the gun in his bag at Del Mar and then decided, I'm going to go do some shooting. Not let the administrators know. That's just unacceptable behavior. That is just unacceptable behavior. You don't bring guns. I mean, people are not allowed to bring guns to school. I mean, just because the Second Amendment says we have the right to bear arms does not mean you should have the right to say, well, I'm going to bring a gun for self-defense. Not without a permit. So let's just not have this happen again, because we don't need to be having any more shootings happening. In school, on the base, anywhere. Otherwise, there's going to be stricter gun laws. Stricter gun laws, and nobody is going to have the chance to own a gun unless they have a license. So, let's not do it again. All right, covered those 3 topics. We're going to take a break. Next, here we're going to look at schools who expelled students for some reasons, like one person who was sick, who was on, like the school thought that this person was sick, was on drugs, but she was actually sick. Also a student who was expelled for a social media post. And plus expelled for after school missing a field trip. That's all coming up. Stay with us. Now, back before technology was happening, and the schools could not have jurisdiction outside of school, there was something that the parent could do. Like Jimmy beat up her son John. The administration said, well, there's nothing we can do. File a police report. But a few of them were smart enough to go off school property. But there's nothing we can do. Schools do not have jurisdiction outside school. If you're on school property, then you have jurisdiction on school. You can't be like. That's not what happened in the news. People were not suspended. Yeah, some of them were suspended, suspended, but some were expelled for some reason from social media posts. I mean, I told you about one. I told you about one post from here in Texas who was not suspended but expelled for using the F word in all tweets. The school's using technology to track the tweets, and then and he posted from home to the school. He logged in the next day. Then they can find it. I mean, should schools have jurisdiction over technology, like what we log on? I mean, what we log on? I mean, that is what the administration in my school is doing. I mean, they have to BYOD, but the computer tech people are administrating this. So if they go on an appropriate website, I mean, they have websites all blocked off. Pornhub, porn websites. I mean, back then you used to block YouTube. Back in like 2007, they blocked YouTube from the administrators. But then back in 2012, they decided, you know what? Let's reopen YouTube for educational videos. Now this is from 3 years ago. This student was suspended, not expelled, suspended after a social media post. But his father says the school went too far. Listen.
What I said is not what I meant to make people think about me, and it was taken wrong.
It only took a few words for 8th grader Logan Johnson to realize the power of social media.
I replied to her story as do it, because her story was, should I drink bleach? So I just said do it.
He says over a weekend this month, a dark humor reply to another Monroe Junior High student's Instagram post got him suspended Friday for 10 days. His parents were shocked.
I'm thinking something serious, something major. He has pulled a gun. He has done bad things.
In the thread, after Johnson posted "do it," the student who made the original post said, "You want me to KMS, meaning kill myself, and thanks." He says those letters didn't click at first, so he replied, "You're welcome."
I would never want somebody to kill themselves. Never.
Johnson says last week he was pulled out of class by a police officer, escorted to the principal's office, and questioned, his phone taken and searched.
Where do they get the power to reach into your life after school hours, off school property, not even talking about school issues, for something, a question that was asked and answered with 2 words?
The superintendent for Monroe Local Schools tells us if social media becomes a disruption, they can't ignore it, even if it's not on school property. He also tells us their code of conduct outlines cyberbullying. Johnson says he's humiliated.
It started off with something that I thought was a joke, and I didn't mean to hurt anybody. And now it's coming around, and it's really affecting everything.
All right, now Johnson says as part of his suspension, he'll have to be in an isolated classroom for the next 6 days. He'll also have to eat lunch alone in the lunchroom in front of everybody else. His father says at this point he plans to consult an attorney. We're live in Monroe tonight. Dan Griffin, WLWT News 5.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I think that it's a cyberbullying issue. Like if somebody's on social media saying a message, go kill yourself or whatever, then the school should have jurisdiction because it's against the zero tolerance cyberbullying policy. But I think it should happen absolutely because everyone needs to have jurisdiction. That's why when you log on to Facebook in on a school computer, they block it because of social media. Nowadays, you have the apps. You've got apps put in place because of all this. They use the Facebook app, the Twitter app, the Instagram app. And the school has no jurisdiction of that. They need to block all the apps. If you're going to log on to school Wi-Fi, they will watch you. They will watch they will have the power, and they will have the power to take away your internet privileges. Period. No buts. Now let's look at what happened next. Imagine going to school and going on a field trip, and then you say, I'm not going on a field trip, and then this happens next. Your son's expelled. That's what happened over a year ago when this boy got kicked out of school for missing the field trip. Did the punishment go too far? Listen.
And this is sure to be a talker on social media. A Tampa 7th grader kicked out of school after his mom wouldn't allow him to go on a field trip.
The child was a student at Tampa Bay Christian Academy in Tampa, and News Channel 8's Chip Osowski reports.
Who doesn't like a field trip? But this one
I love
was
field
a little bit
trips.
unique. An overnight retreat at a camp on the Swanee River in Old Town. Devin John Ray, a 7th grader here, had some reservations.
I said it was for a couple of days, and I'm sleeping with other people that I don't know all the way. It makes me feel kind of nervous.
His mom, Kelly Nelson, was also uncomfortable with the arrangements.
Didn't want him to sleep out for 2 nights with a bunch of people from 7th and 12th grade, along with their parents or chaperones that I can't account for.
We require attendance, we require testing. This is part of our curriculum, and we require a retreat, and it is part of our curriculum.
Natasha Sherwood is the head of the school and explains it was especially important this year.
We lost a student the first Friday of school, and so the kids have been really looking forward to this time when sometimes when you're on campus, you just can't talk about things, and this gives a chance to do that.
Sherwood adds the school even offered to put Nelson up in her own room, but she wouldn't have it.
It was just weird. If a parent says no, that means no.
Nelson understands a requirement, but feels this is one rule that should be adjusted.
Basically, I feel like I'm getting punished.
So, what's next? Kelly tells me she's thinking about homeschooling her 2 sons and hiring an attorney. In Tampa, I'm Chip Osowski, News Channel 8.
Did the punishment go too far?
I like your tattoos. What are those numbers on your arm?
That's the date my dad died. He was a fireman.
Did the punishment go too far? Yes. It went too far. If you don't want to go to the field trip, then someone else told me to go in the room. Because if you're a student, they have to watch you, making sure that if you're a student and you don't want to go on a field trip, then this is what happens. And this is what happens. So if you want to go on a field trip, go on a field trip. If you don't want to, let the administrator know that, and then they can hook you up in another room. It's not that simple.
Tonight, parents at an East Bay middle school are rallying to get a student kicked in.
Now imagine this: all schools have a no zero tolerance policy, none, and the teacher and all schools allow students to threaten their teachers, and yet you go to the school board and say we want zero tolerance. That's what happened 1 year ago at a school when parents demand that the school district expel a boy who threatened to kill his classmates. Listen.
Tonight, parents at an East Bay middle school are rallying to get a student kicked out after he allegedly threatened classmates at his previous school. KPIX5's Kristen Ayers is at the Pleasant Hill campus, where parents are demanding the district take action.
Tonight, parents packed a school board meeting to make a stand, demanding that a student at Sequoia Middle School be expelled for threatening to kill dozens of people. A school board meeting so crowded, parents and students sat on floors and lined walls, waiting to give the district a piece of their mind.
I should not be scared to send my kid to school.
But tonight, a number of parents said they are afraid, including Kim Childers.
He had threatened to kill 30 people on the last day of school.
It happened when the student was attending Valley View Middle School in Pleasant Hill in early June. The boy put the message on Snapchat. The FBI investigated.
That child was arrested, booked into juvenile hall. Evidence was found, multiple guns, firearms were seized from his home.
But ultimately, the student was not charged. He was transferred here to Sequoia Middle School, where he was in 2 classes with Kim's child until she removed her student and started a petition that more than 1,200 people have signed in a matter of days. They want the district to expel the student who made the threat.
The district, according to one of their education codes regarding terrorist threats, they do have the right to expel the student from the district or from the school.
But in a letter to parents, the superintendent said despite what the student wrote, authorities found no viable threat from the student, and the DA's office declined to prosecute. Without substantial evidence of a viable threat, the student may not be excluded from this district.
And if the elected district attorney has not charged this child with a crime, who are we, the uninformed parents, to judge him when we have none of the facts?
But that explanation was not good enough for most of the parents here tonight.
We don't want this child in our school.
The school board was not expected to make a decision tonight. The district has maintained the student will stay here at Sequoia. In Pleasant Hill, Kristen Ayers, KPIX 5.
That is unacceptable. If the school says, we're not going to do anything about it, our hands are tied, we can't be responsible. No, all schools need to be responsible. Like if the school, like if a student is in school and they threaten to kill classmates, teachers, whatever, hurt their teachers, then it has to be followed up with an investigate. It has to be followed up with a police report, the police officer investigating, and then what the district decides. They decide to expel, suspend, suspend. That's actually no reason for them to say, we have nothing to say, we're just going to keep him in school. No, you need to expel that son. That man, that person that threatened to kill his classmates, he needs to be removed from the school right now. We can't have this happen. We don't need to have people threatening. That's part of cyberbullying. And cyberbullying is a big issue here. I mean, people have killed themselves because of this. We don't need this happening anymore. We're going to have more about this when we come back. Welcome back. Imagine if you're a student at school who's sick, and yet the school finds out you're on drugs, and yet you as a parent are outraged because of that, because your child was sick, and the school thought that you were on drugs.
A family outraged, their daughter expelled. They say the school accused the teen of being on drugs, but her parents say they got it all wrong and they have the drug test to prove it.
So now they are fighting to get her back in class at Pasadena Memorial High School. Stephanie Whitfield is at the school tonight. Stephanie, what action will the parents take next?
Well, the family has hired lawyers to help them appeal the school's decision. They say their daughter is being punished for no reason. Here today, outside Pasadena ISD's administrative offices, 15-year-old Jasmine Garcia and her family made a public plea for justice.
I was sad because they were accusing me of something I didn't do.
They say the ordeal started 10 days ago. The teen was feeling sick during a math class at Pasadena Memorial High School.
I was in class and my head started hurting and I started feeling dizzy.
She tells us she couldn't walk. Instead of being concerned,
I'm not going to play the whole thing, but we know so far she was sick. But the school said, nah, she's on drugs. And yet, the school's like, you're on drugs, you're expelled. That was 10 days ago. Yet the parent decided to drug test her, or she tested negative. What does she mean? I know what she did. She probably showed the drug test to the school, and it's like, here, I have the drug test. Put her back in. And it's like, sorry, that's our decision. Our decision final. We removed her. And it's like, and yet, the second step now is to hire an attorney to sue the district. What is there to do? I mean, school's gone too far. We don't need this out there anymore. We don't need people being expelled for lots of reasons. So that's that. Now, real quick before we end here, graduation plans. June 5th, I'm going to report. Friday, I'm going to report from the graduation. I'm going to have a cameraman, outside cameraman with me because of all this. But my biggest concern is the traffic. Now, yesterday I investigated this. I figured they're going to block part of Purdue and have parts of Waldron blocked up and have 6 feet of people parked, like from ECC to the other side. And so I figured I'd start doing this at about 5:30 and at 6 o'clock when the doors open so that I can be out of their way. That's tomorrow. And that's our report for tonight. That's all for this is Give Me Break Wednesday. We'll see you on Friday for Give Me Break live from the Hornet Stadium at 6 Eastern, 5:30 Central. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a good night. And stay safe.